nice to see you. And again, if you can find the area where you turn the cameras off, that way we have all of our attention on Chef Alyssa and her cooking. Once we get started to that, there should be a toolbar across, well, it depends if you're on a phone or your laptop.
Right there.
Thanks, Allison.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there should be a toolbar that either, kind of pops up if you move your mouse. For some people, it's across the top of the screen, and there's a little icon that looks like a camera. It's usually next to the microphone. And if you just click on that one, it should disable that one. There we go. Joan got hers. Yeah. And we'll just leave that screenshot up if anybody needs help with that.
Yeah.
We got 1 minute to class time.
All right. That's good. So yes, just again, as you're joining us, if your camera is on, up on the screen, you should see the PowerPoint in the center. Welcome to Teams. You're in the right place. There's a little toolbar to help you turn off your camera if you need some support. If also in doubt, if you lose anything, you can't find it, things are looking hard, you can always leave the meeting and re-enter it, re-enter Teams, and sometimes that helps as well. So, all right. Watch this class have 100 and some that you have to admit, Heather.
Hey, I'd be happy to do so, right?
All right. But if you guys, we are a minute away. I'm going to go back right there. And if you came here for culinary medicine, you're in the right place. I might have muted all of you as coming in, but if not, if you don't mind turning off your microphone and your cameras, Chef Alyssa, we're going to get you in a minute, get you ready to go. It is that 5 o'clock hour, Heather. What do you say? Do you say
I'm excited to get cooking.
Yeah, I am too. So I am happy to see everyone joining along. I'm going to, usually Heather's doing all these little navigating of all of our fun stuff. I just have to find my buttons here. There we go. I found it. Okay. So welcome you guys. I have right now our team guidelines just in case you need a little review. Welcome to class. You're at Culinary Medicine. We do have a big class tonight. So we ask everyone to stay muted to minimize any background noise and so we can focus our attention on our amazing chef. We also ask you to turn off your camera if you can find that, just to make it easier for us to all focus on the food in front of us. So if you have any questions as we go along, please chat them in the chat box. And again, on this little toolbar, you'll see there's a place that looks like a text box. If you press on that, it'll have a chat. Normally it's in the lower right-hand corner. Please chat in hello. Please say hi. We'd love to hear it. That's where we do a lot of our chatting. If you do have a question, you can raise your hand. That's on the toolbar as well. Okay, Heather, I know I don't have it down like you do, but you guys got the idea. And then I want to take a moment and introduce ourselves. First, we have and foremost our amazing chef, Alyssa. Alyssa's been a personal chef for over, is it 25 years now? Really?
Yeah,
That's amazing. She combines great flavors with good nutrition, and we're really excited to have her here. We also have Heather Charles. She's over on on Maui, and my name is Allison Welch, and I'm on the Big Island, and we are health coaches and coordinators for Kaiser Permanente, and we're going to be hosting this with you today. Okay, so I say we step in again as people are joining. I'm just going to remind everyone, please, as you come in, because we have a big class, if you'd mute your microphone, turn off your cameras, and we will be focusing on the food at hand. You may be asking yourself, what's so special about whole foods, plant-based? Why do I have to do it? In addition to cutting that carbon footprint, we also know it's the only diet that's shown to prevent and reverse chronic diseases such as type 2 diabetes and coronary artery disease. Really, that's pretty amazing. That is a big deal. So what is whole food plant-based diet? What it is food in its most natural form, and it's the closest to the way it's grown. And it includes fruits and vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, and seeds. It minimizes this idea of processed foods, refined sugars, white flours, and animal foods. So while changing your eating style may seem really daunting, this is the style of eating that can be best summed up by these words you see on the screen, written by Michael Pollan. He's an amazing author and journalist, and he's written a lot of books about food and health. I love this saying, Heather. Eat food, not too much, mostly plants.
How
Most
simple is
people,
that, right?
honestly, that's
Doable.
all it takes, right? Most people know that vegetables are good for them, yet it's kind of hard to eat them for some people. It's a major barrier. How do I cook them? How do I know what tastes good? So that's why we have Chef Alyssa here. So we want to change your mind from thinking of this as a chore and making you have this mindset of this is going to be good fun. We want you to have fun while you're cooking. So when you got your, oh, I forgot to mention, do you mind just so you have put this in the chat for me,
Mm-hmm.
Heather.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Michael Pollan, he did this great series for Stanford. And if you are curious after this, we hope that you join and look at these short video series. There's about, I think, 16 or 17 of them, and it really talks more about plant-based eating and gives you some good ideas. So we really highly recommend that. Okay. So with your email, we sent you a few handouts. And again, they're in the email, just like this flyer here of the healthy plate. Some of you may be familiar with that food pyramid that we all grew up with in recent years. They've changed it. We look at this beautiful healthy plate in front of us, and it shows, if you look at it, it's divided in three parts. And we have that in your handout. You'll notice this one, there's no quote unquote meat included as one of your food groups. Instead, you're going to notice it says protein, and that's included for the plant-based proteins such as beans, lentils, or tofu. So you're going to learn more about that. But before we get going and we have our chef demonstrate what we're cooking, what do you say we show the recipes? Now, again, don't worry so much. This is a little, if you see the PowerPoint in front of you, in your email, those recipes are there. So there's going to be nothing new. You can click on them, open them, print them as you need. But I'm going to have Chef go over the recipes now, if you don't mind. So let me put that on the screen. I think you're going to be doing the vegetable taco first. Is that right,
I
Chef?
am, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So do you mind going over that recipe before we kind of jump in and get cooking?
I don't. I don't at all. And
All right.
I'm gonna look down because I can't see.
Oh, yeah.
I
You
can't
don't have
see
to
over
look
there. Yeah,
away.
I'm gonna look at my printout below. So if you
Okay.
see me looking down. So what we're gonna start out with is we're gonna both the recipes we are going to be using cauliflower. We're going to get creative with cauliflower today. And we are going to process some cauliflower florets with some walnuts and some taco seasonings. And then we're going to saute it, or you can also have the option to bake it. So that is our first recipe that we're going to use.
Okay. So let me do the next one. And again, you guys, don't worry, she's going to show all this. The second recipe we're going to do
Yes.
is this wonderful cauliflower fried rice.
Right. So we're going to do kind of a local style fried rice, but instead of using rice, we're going to process cauliflower. So it comes down to a rice-like consistency. Then we're going to stir fry it with vegetables and add some seasonings, local seasonings. And I'm going to show you a trick on how to make some crispy baked tofu cubes that you can add in at the end to your fried rice.
Fantastic. Now, you guys, again, remember, Chef's going to be cooking. We love your questions. So if you chat them in as she goes, we will make sure to ask them. You can warm up your fingers, chat in hello in the chat if you want. If there are any other questions, did I forget anything, Heather? I know you're usually the one to do all this chatting. So I'm going to take this down.
No,
I
I
am
think we
going,
covered everything, and I'm excited because this is topic is family cooking, right?
I
Cooking.
know.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
Yes,
so
yes.
we figured tacos, right? Those are kind of really accessible. It can provide lots of different ingredients for that, and I'm excited to learn a plant-based version of it.
And one other thing I do want to add on that, family cooking, we want to get people excited. It's fun to have our kids around. Sometimes we think, okay, I'm going to eat a certain way, but I'm going to cook this for them because they don't like to eat it. We want to open their minds just like we have to for ourselves. So we're hoping you get some great ideas. I'm hoping everyone, Heather, let me know, can you see the setup right front and center of your
I
screen?
can. Yep, I
Great.
see
I
a
hope
food
everyone
processor.
else, I hope you guys all see it. So, Chef, I am going to hand it over to you. Let you get
Okay.
cooking.
All right. Well, the first thing I want to talk a little bit about is cauliflower. So you can buy the whole head of cauliflower and break it into florets. And my tip for that would be just to kind of have them to be the same size, because then they're all processed down about to the same size. Allison did point out, which I had forgotten, is that if you happen to shop at Costco, Costco now sells cauliflower. So that's a nice convenient way to get cauliflower. They also sell cauliflower rice in the freezer section. So you can skip kind of like this whole section. So we can, if you already have the cauliflower rice, you can just process everything else and add it in with your rice that way. But what I did today was I had done a online order through Whole Foods. So just to show you, I got cauliflower florets. I guess it should be this way, right? Is that in my upside down?
That's perfect. Yep.
Yeah. And so what I did was I tried to, be mindful of if I'm going to have packaged vegetables to see whether they've been rinsed or not rinsed. I couldn't tell. So I rinsed my cauliflower, and then they were in all different shapes, so sizes. So I kind of cut them down a little bit so that they were all about the same size. And I'm going to take them and put them in my food processor. So this is kind of what I did, if I have the option, just kind of just tried to make them all similar in shape. So this is one package was 12 ounces, and this came out to be 3 cups. So that was really convenient. And then what we've got here, so the other thing I want to talk about is not everyone might have a food processor, but this is a good recipe to have a food processor with. But if you have a food processor that's different sizes, that's kind of the one thing I wanted to touch bases on is if you've just got too much overwhelmed to put everything in at one point, you might have a smaller one. Just do like several batches, just kind of pour it in, and then you can all combine everything into a big bowl. Just don't try and force, too much going on. And on that lines, I'm kind of looking at my 3 cups of cauliflower, and I think I'm going to take some out. I think this food processor is a 7-cup food processor. Okay, so because now I have 2 cups of walnuts. And again, you can buy walnuts at somewhere like probably Costco and Sam's. I actually got a bag of walnuts from Whole Foods too. If you have walnuts and you have too much, you can always good to store in a freezer or refrigerator if you've got space. And this was halves and pieces. So again, I'm just, because of the size of my food processor, I'm going to do half-half. Just, it doesn't have to be exact. It's just going to do a little visual. And then the recipe calls for chipotles in adobo sauce. Now, 2 chipotles comes in a can, and 2 is pretty spicy. So I am going to start off with 1 and a little bit of the sauce, and then you might want to just adjust from there, depending on how spicy you like your food. Just want to give you a fair warning. This has a little bit of heat. And it comes in a little can. So whatever you have left over, you can just put in a Ziploc and put it in the freezer, and then you can use it later on.
I love that tip. It's such a good one. Knowing, and can you also put in, like we learned that you can do that with tomato paste too? I'm the beginner. I asked Chef this earlier, so
yeah,
don't get scared of having that extra hot sauce. You can freeze it.
Yes, I even froze some extra barbecue sauce I had. I mean, there's all the kind of sauce, but tomato paste is great. It's a great way to extend your storing of tomato paste so it doesn't go bad. If for some reason you can't find chipotle in peppers, chipotles in adobo sauce, you can always use smoked paprika instead. So you can start out with like a teaspoon of smoked paprika, which that is pretty easy to find in the stores.
Do you have the can of the chipotle still? Maybe you should just show that later.
I
No?
know I
Oh,
was
okay.
thinking about that, but I had the ones in the freezer, so I didn't have the can. I'm sorry.
No
Should have
worries.
had a little more foresight. Usually it's in the, I want to say, how do they term it now? Is it in the Asian section? But it's usually like where the Mexican food is.
Yeah, the tortillas, it depends. There's a lot by
Like the
there are.
enchilada sauce and all that.
Usually,
Yeah.
enchilada and the salsa and the refried beans and the pickled jalapenos. That's kind of where you'd find the adobo, chipotle sauce adobos.
Yeah.
That's where I've seen them.
They're a lot easier to find now than they used to be.
Yeah. So, okay. And then, so I have a combination of chili, cumin, and I think today it's onion powder, but you could also put, oh, it's so moist. Look at that. It's clumped up right in half.
It's humid.
It's this crazy weather.
I know, right? Okay, so I'm gonna use my hand.
I keep some of those spices actually like the garlic salt and stuff in the fridge so that it
I do
doesn't
too.
get clumpy. So that's another tip for you guys. Our fridges are full of other things, right? Nuts and garlic powder.
So yeah, the things that I keep in I tend to keep actually the paprikas in the fridge, the cayenne, the red, the dill, things that can lose their flavor quickly, the chili flakes that you use for pizza, put those in the fridge. The onion and garlic powder, I keep in a Ziploc bag in the fridge. Good point. And I don't know if you've ever seen, but in some of the like health markets, they have like powdered mock chicken broth or they have vegetable broth powder. That one always clumps on me too. So I put that in the fridge too in a Ziploc bag. That seems to extend its life a little bit, whatever that's worth. Okay, I have a little bit of salt. And then I'm going to do one process and then I'll do another process and we will have I'll show you what I get. Okay, so that is what I'm looking for, is this kind of a consistency. So, I mean, I guess you could equate it to ground beef, kind of a look in texture. The walnuts are going to add a nice crunch. Okay, so
I just want to add a little note here while you're saying that. It looks fabulous. One thing I love that you just showed for people who are new with food processors, you know, that blade is really sharp, right? So using something when you take things out or to turn it, I've learned the hard way. So, but there's the trick of holding it on the bottom as well. So, yeah. The magic though it makes is wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. I have several favorite things that I use very often in the kitchen is a blender, food processor, and my pressure cooker, Instant Pot or Instant Pot. I am getting closer to getting an air fryer. I am looking. So that
you won't regret it.
I know that's our Heather's one, but food processor is the top of my list too. It's the one I use all the time.
Yeah. What size do you have?
I have the same size as you. You know, I have seen the ones for the herbs, but for when I do the smaller ones, I often use my, I have 2 coffee grinders, right? And sometimes that one works well for little things, but mostly I just use the big one.
Yeah, someone gifted me a small one, so I have them next door to each other. It's kind of cute, but yeah. Yeah, these are great tools to have. A stick blender too. I really like my stick blender. Okay, so I got the rest of my seasonings in and my sauce. Whoa. I don't know if that's one pepper or.
Yep, you'll be tasting that one.
That'll be good.
Yeah, blasting people. But you know, the whole concept is you're going to be adding a lot of stuff, right? Your tacos and burritos and taco salads, so hopefully it'll mellow it out. Okay, I think I got everything. I'm going to pulse.
I don't know if you guys can hear me while she's doing it. I think that's another great tip is pulsing. Sometimes we just push it and turn it on, but you have a lot more control when you pulse with the
Right.
food
So you can
processor.
kind of get the texture that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that is pretty much it for the processing.
I love how simple this is.
I know, right?
And like you said, so versatile because then it could be a taco salad, it could be a burrito, it could be a taco, it could be so many things.
Right, soft taco, crunchy taco, anything that you would use. Yeah, it could be a enchiladas, right? Mm. And you can freeze this too because it's just, you know, it's not like it has tofu in it or the moisture content wouldn't be high.
So
It'll freeze well.
I do have a question for you. If
Yes.
someone had the cauliflower rice, right, just like you said, so just the reminder, they can pulse up the rest of it and then mix it in with the cauliflowered rice and just take that step away? Or should, you know, like if they have the ready, yeah, just pulse. Don't put the cauliflower rice in the food processor and then pulse it with everything. Pulse the everything else and then mix it with the cauliflower rice.
Yeah, that's how I would do it because you just don't want
Yeah.
that cauliflower rice to turn to mush.
Exactly.
In the process. But hold on, let me just jump to that recipe.
It's just a different thought. I love the idea of doing it with the whole cauliflowers, but just in case you happen to buy that Costco size rice and you're like, what do I do with this?
I'm sorry. Were you talking about the fried rice or were you talking about the taco filling?
I'm just being say I'm thinking of this one too. I know you're using it for both, but if they have some and they wanted to do this one, they could just do that, pulse everything else and then mix it. Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
Yeah, no. I was just jumping to the other one. Okay.
We just knows those Costco size is big.
Yes. You have to work on that. I'm getting through all the portions, Costco size portions. Okay, I'm going to put the burner here and get started on sauteing. Okay. So
see this. Oh no, I was saying this. I wonder if this could actually be cooked really good in an air fryer too.
Oh, okay. You'll have to let us know.
I'm going to have you put, there you go. Perfect. Push it a little more towards the camera so it's center. A little, no, up towards the book. There you go. And there you go. Thank you.
So two ways you can do this. You can lay it in a baking sheet and you can bake it. I find that it's quicker to do it in a saute pan, but it really helps to have a nonstick saute pan. So I'm going to actually add a little bit of oil, and because again we're going to, depending on the volume and the size of your pan, you might want to do this in batches. I just wanted to put that out there. I am going to, again, this is not my main way of cooking, so bear with me. And you can, I know that it gets hot really fast. Okay.
You're nothing if not adaptable. This is what we love.
Okay, work. Okay, it's not making, okay. Yes, it's hot. So the best way to do this is to try and get, you know, a thin layer, much as you can. Even layer, I guess would be the way to put it. And you just kind of want to brown and crisp it because you want it. The bottom line is you want to cook the cauliflower. Yeah. It doesn't take long to cook the small piece of the cauliflower. The other option that you can do too is just do a quick searing and then put it in a baking sheet, a lined baking sheet with like parchment paper, and then pop it in the oven.
What would you cook that on if you put it in the oven, like 350?
350. Yeah. I tend to be a 350 girl.
Yeah, it's easier. And then for about how long might you leave it in there? 10, 15 minutes?
Yeah, if you've done this little saute, step. Otherwise, I have 20 minutes or till warm through.
Fantastic. It's a great idea. Those sheet pans really serve us well for so many things.
Yeah, you know, if you're doing other things, and I will when we get to the baked tofu. I have a couple comments on that 450. I was doing it today, and again, it's really, you know, you can have recipes, but you know, you really kind of have to adapt with the dynamics of your kitchen. You know, what's your burner like? What are your pans like? What oven are you using? Like I was baking the tofu in my, I have like a smart oven, you know, the kind that's on top of a counter. 450 was, I didn't need to have it at 450. It was pretty high. So adjust it there too. So it's just being mindful of, you know, the dynamics of your cooking environment.
And we do sometimes forget, even just like with our weather, when we've had the super humid weather or things that are a little out of the normal, it can affect things. Just like we think about that with baking, but it's a good thought for cooking as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And if any questions come up, you guys don't hesitate to put them in the chat.
Chat away.
You know, we're looking there too. We'll make sure to ask them.
All right. So I'm just going to do the other batch.
Yeah, and actually the sauteing in the pan is pretty quick, but I do think if you do have an air fryer at home, I think this would be a good use of it too, because then you get a little bit of a roasted kind of taste to it too.
Mm-hmm. That's so
nice exciting. To not heat up the whole oven. Yeah.
Yeah. So my thought, what I'm going to do here is I was going to make a taco salad with this. So I thought, you know, I've got avocado and black olives and lettuce and chips and tomatoes. And I just thought that would be a great combination.
And I'm getting hungry just listening to you.
I love the creativity too, right? Do it in lettuce wraps. You can have it crunchy. You can. Does not. But I'm hungry every time. I love this. Yeah.
And then the other thing you can do at the end here is you can push. Cilantro, of course, and fresh lime. You can do a little bit of fresh lime juice.
And I think it's just the same thing. If we're so used to like having our tacos, I love it. Just like this with meat before, it's like you cook it the same way. You can make your tacos to your whatever you like in it, and just try something new. That's the fun. And I think that's the fun for kids as well. If you have all those different toppings and things laid out, even changing if you're trying to watch, you know, sour cream to, if you can change that to Greek yogurt. You can make small changes to get healthier, but you know, choose it and take your time and have fun with it.
And I like how this can be served too, like at a party or something where maybe you're having traditional kind of taco ingredients, but put this there, and then people might be tempted to at least try it because it's there, and you never know, you might hook somebody else, and they're like, oh, this actually isn't too bad. I can do that.
Idea, Heather.
Yeah. Even like print out a few recipes and just have them, you know, right there in case anyone asks.
Bring it to the next party and see what happens, or next time you're hosting. Yeah,
or put a little of the recipes underneath the plate because people definitely want to do it.
We for Mother's Day we did bake your own taco salad bar. And,
see, there you go.
Yeah, it makes it's a nice little change of pace, and people can, like you say, you can do what you like to do, and
personalize it. You can personalize it. Yeah.
I'm excited. Look at this, looks so good. And the thing that's exciting too, you know, I have to honestly admit, I'm one of those people who I don't like cauliflower on its own. And now I'm all, oh, I can't wait to get a big head of cauliflower and try this.
Yeah. And the reason why, you know, it's just because I did an online order. I wasn't sure how big the cauliflower head would be, right? So I knew I needed 6 cups, and I just wasn't sure if I ordered one head, you know, when someone else is shopping. So, yeah. But I think it's probably more cost effective to get a whole cauliflower than to get it prepped. So it's either way, whatever works for you. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to just quickly rinse out the food processor. If anybody has any questions, I'm going to, this is the seared sauteed, and then I'm going to just pop it in the oven just because of the dynamics of the class. Just want to keep sauteing things for 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, we got a half hour
Is
left.
your burner off?
Yeah,
Don't forget
yeah,
to turn your burner off.
Don't burn yourself. We
Yeah.
just don't want any.
Usually it turns off when.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, but thank you. I did see that 275. Huh. Okay. All right. So give me just about a minute or so, and I will.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you guys think of this? Does this seem something doable? I mean, I feel like these are mostly things that I have in my fridge.
I know, that's what I like too. Like, oh, I've got all these ingredients. And for me, you know, you
or
guys
I can
may
find
be good
them at
this.
Costco, right? The Costco bag of walnuts. I always kind of get that one. It's great to have those, and the
I keep those in
cauliflower.
the freezer for sure. That was a great tip.
Yep.
Keeping your nuts in the freezer are really helps.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, chat them in.
I know. I was wanted to make this for meal prep this week, and I was like, well, I kind of want to watch her make it first and then make sure I'm doing it.
I know
Make sure
Chef
I get it.
Alyssa, she is, especially for me, you know, I look at a recipe and sometimes I think, can I do that? And you just make it go, yeah, I can. That's not hard at all. I got this.
Okay, so we're gonna move
Okay.
the
Don't,
burner.
be safe.
Bring this back. And then I could have processed the cauliflower into rice, but I thought I would do it for the class. So
thank you.
I'm just gonna do that one step.
Nice.
And then of course, when you come back, I'm going to be your producer and have you move that the food processor closer to the books, because I like to see it. There's some magic that happens when you get to see it all from the top down. I'm like that, like, oh, let it get closer to me. There you go, right there. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Perfect.
All right, so again, this is a package, a 12-ounce package of cauliflower florets. I, for some reason, got 3, but this is good because I can show you the package. And I just, again, cut them to size so they were all kind of even. And I'm going to process them. Should be able to do all of them. Pulse it.
So this is to make the cauliflower rice,
right?
Yes,
we are moving
or people
on.
Can buy the frozen cauliflower rice at the store too.
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Okay, so we're just going to show how I just pulse it.
But you know, we said this in the beginning, Heather, when it looks closest to what we get out of the ground, and look what we can transform it to. So if you can get it whole and feel excited, but again, if you don't have the food processor, it is nice and convenient. You can get it riced.
And the other way you can do it is use one of those box graters, one of the big pukas. And
good idea.
You can grate your cauliflower. All right, that's it. So I am going to move that over into a bowl.
Hope you guys are getting hungry and getting some good inspiration. Okay, so we got a thing in a questioner says, someone mentioned that there are ways with a food processor, like a trick to keep the blade from dropping out. When you turn it over on the bottom, there's a hole. Maybe Chef can show you when she gets everything out of the food processor. If you take your finger or your pinky in there, it keeps, you can hold the blade in place without touching it. It's on the bottom under the plastic.
Oh,
So
I
we'll
didn't
wait.
know that.
Oh,
I always
it's
struggle. I always like have to
yes.
remove it out, and then I try to take the food out.
Have you done that? Do you do that, Chef?
No, I'm going to try that.
Maybe it was a different. Yeah.
Does it depend on the size of the processor and the size of your blade? Let me
it's
see
true.
If that would
See if that works. If not, I don't want to be lying to everyone. Maybe it's just mine, but you can put your finger in the bottom to hold it. If not, just tip it on the side. Just no, yours doesn't work.
It just depends on the size of my finger. Okay, I could. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
I have
can.
to fuss with it a little bit, but
Yeah,
there is a
your
there.
pinky. There's a place, a puka underneath, and it keeps it from. Just so you know, I told you it's my favorite. I know me, the one who cooks the least of this group. I know. I've watched a lot of cooking shows, and I think my husband always laughs at me because he's the cook. And when I come in and tell him, also the other trick with your tongs, when you cut a lime in half and you're trying to squeeze it, if you don't have anything to squeeze it with, you put that between the tongs and pull the tongs together, and wow, it really juices it. So when
That's a
she's
good
making
idea
her
too.
taco salad,
Especially if you have a cut on your hand, right?
you
Ooh,
got to
ouch.
keep coming to me. I got all those tips, the least cook in the group. I hope that helped, Chris.
Okay. Now
Give
we're
it a
going
try.
to
Let me know.
go back to, this is like transferring things back and forth.
Shuffle, yeah.
You know, this is for the people who have the small places, those tiny apartments. It shows that you can cook anywhere. So you're helping us all out. I should have my daughter watch this.
Yeah, that's true. Great for maybe yeah, college students and things like that, right?
Yeah, but you'd be telling them to get an air fryer.
I would. I've got garlic, ginger, salt, pepper, turmeric, shoyu, which looks like that could spill real easy.
Fried rice is such a staple, right?
Yeah.
Sambal. Oh yeah, and carrots, sesame oil, and peas.
And again, don't worry, you guys. This is all in your recipe, so you don't have to remember anything. Just watch her do it.
It's showing you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to heat up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up some light oil. It can be avocado, safflower, canola. It could be a light sesame oil. Sometimes you can find that in the stores. I actually find it at Target, sesame oil, not the toasted, but the light. And then we got ginger, garlic, our grated cauliflower, which I showed you, turmeric to make it kind of yellow, and shoyu, sesame, sriracha, salt, pepper, and then the green onions at the end. So we will go ahead and get started, and then I'll show you how I did the tofu, how I do the tofu. Okay, so I'm going to turn this on, put a little bit of oil, which I actually happen to have a little bit of walnut oil, which is probably not something you see too often, but it's a light oil. And I'm going to put in the carrots, which I cut up into small pieces. Let's see if this is getting nice and hot. Yep, it's sizzling. Okay, I've got my carrots. I've got peas, frozen or unfrozen, it's fine. Just happen to have some in the freezer. Garlic and ginger. The key is always try not to have your garlic burn. I'm gonna got some fresh ginger. And you know, you can play with this. You can do however you like. You could do red bell pepper. You could do white onions.
Yeah, I was just thinking Costco has that mixed vegetable one too.
Yeah.
That's got peas and corn, I think, and carrots.
Right,
we get that one always at our house. So that would be kind of an easy one too, if you didn't want to do all the chopping, if you didn't have time.
And it's a kid friendly, you know, they like the colors. This is a way to kind of as a good starter. But that's, I think, what's fun is fried rice. It's rare to hear a kid not like fried rice. So this might be their way to get into the cauliflower.
Yeah.
Without hiding it. That's what I love.
What's nice about the frozen peas is it adds a little moisture. So then even though it's a nonstick pan, you know, it helps with the cooking process with the carrot, the garlic. So really what you want to do is, you know, you can make your carrots a little smaller, but the bottom line is you're trying to cook your carrots so they could be thin slivers or smaller little pieces. If you ever have something.
No, go ahead. I just said you make cooking look so much fun.
If you ever have it like it's starting to stick and you still want to cook it a little bit more, you can just put a little bit of water, you know, and then it will add you can keep cooking and nothing will, oh, sorry. I don't want that to hurt my camera, the camera. But that's just a tip, right? So you don't have to always keep adding more oil. Add just a little bit of water to help it along. Okay, so at this point, our carrots are soft. We're going to add in the cauliflower. And the turmeric, also known as olena here on the island.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. This is not heat friendly. Okay, and then really what we're doing here is okay, salt and pepper. We're cooking the cauliflower. So 3 to 5 minutes or until the cauliflower starts to soften. I could have done this in 2 batches because it is a good amount, but you just keep moving along and having the cauliflower.
And it looks exactly like fried rice right now. Like,
right? I know. It's really great. I think what's also a nice thing is that, look, we've been doing this for less than an hour. You've got 2 different meals. It's like meal prep right here. And think about how much food in both of them, the taco and then the fried rice. When you're busy.
How many veggies? Like
look at all those veggies
vegetables.
you got in there.
Cauliflower is so good for us. Great cancer fighter. Yep. Lots of benefits for the body. Yep.
Okay, so then what we're going to do here is we're going to finish up with shoyu sesame oil, sriracha, my tongue twisters, salt and pepper, and then the green onions.
Love it. And again, you guys can personalize it to what you like or what your kids like. So you can make it as hot or as not, you know. I mean, I laugh. I have a 23-year-old kid who would say green onions, and I'm like, yes.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
I know you guys feeling motivated. Is this looking like something you're like, I can make this. I can do it.
Yeah, I'd love to hear. You guys think your families would go for it?
Yeah.
Then I'll show you
that
how
was the
I do
green onion.
tofu. Yeah. Green onion. Salt, pepper, shoyu, sriracha. And oh gosh, okay. I took it off the heat. Okay. All right, so I am going to put this on a serving plate and then show you. I've already did bake some tofu, so I'll show you the baked tofu and then I'll show you how I did it so that you have all the information. Okay, let me go get plate.
And it looks colorful, all those vegetables in there.
Let's see here now. So I can put it on this side or the other side. I will move this here.
Yes, and Chef Alyssa always has such beautiful bowls to plate everything.
My fun thrift store finds. There we go. Wow, looks almost like a Chinese restaurant.
This is fantastic.
All right, and then let me move this. Move this over here. Right. That's, yeah, there. It's a little low. And then I have the tofu, my crispy baked tofu.
While you're getting that on, there was a question, which countertop oven do you have?
Oh, I
Chef?
have a Breville smart oven. It's convection. So I'm looking for a Breville smart oven with the air fryer option as well. So I don't use the convection that much. So I figure that I'll do the air fryers because you folks keep talking about how wonderful it is. So yeah.
Wow.
So okay, so this is the fried rice with the crispy tofu that I've made, and then I will go ahead and show you how I do
Beautiful.
that. Okay, so now we're going to move to cutting board.
You move that
So
a
what I
little
did
towards the, oh, there we go. As long, I was going to say move your cutting board a little bit towards your book, if you would, just so it gets more centered so we could, there you go.
There we go. Okay, so I did half of a recipe. So that's why we have half of a block of tofu, and it is a extra firm. You know, if you buy extra firm, it makes life a lot easier all the way around. You don't have to do the draining. I mean, you still have to drain it and dry it, but you don't necessarily have to press it. For something like this, it'd be really helpful. So if you can find extra firm fresh tofu, it's a great way to go. And then, so this is like the other block, half the tofu would be here. So I tend to cut it. You can cut it. That's the other part about baking it. So I'm going to cut this in thirds, cut it in half. Depending upon the size, also makes a difference in your cooking time and how it cooks. Okay, and so I have these all about the same equal sizes.
You don't have to press it. That was a question. No need to press it.
No, I didn't press it. I just drained it, and then I used a paper towel, or you could use a thin, like a cotton tea towel to dry it. And then I'm going to toss this in a bowl. So I'll put this in. Oh, and I have, this is another one of my kitchen tools that I love. Let me show you. Is this, what do we call this? This is the scraper they use for like bread and baking. But I do this all the time for my vegetables. It gets it off your, I don't know what they call this. Spatula, thick. Okay. So
Yeah,
I'm
I don't know
gonna,
either.
yeah, I'll have to look that up. So I'm sprinkling it with a little cornstarch or arrowroot. My hands in there, toss it. And then I've got equal amounts of, I think this is olive oil. Olive oil, it could be sesame oil, shoyu. So I'm gonna drizzle that over and then toss it. And then I'm gonna layer it on a baking sheet.
We have a question while you're doing that. Extra firm versus firm, does it make a difference? We made a baked tofu a couple of days ago and it came out a bit chewy tough. Might have left the oven too long. So
Yeah, probably too
just,
long in the oven.
yeah. So extra
Yeah.
firm or firm is kind of the same thing. Extra firm is what you would suggest, right?
I would for this recipe, if, yeah, depending, I'm not quite sure what they used. But it could be the size, the amount of time.
They used firm. Could, yeah. And I think that's
Okay.
key. Like you got to kind of, like you were saying, know your oven.
Yeah, there's so
Yeah.
many dynamics, right? It's the size, the oven, the type of tofu. You get used to it once you start doing this, but
Yeah,
you might have to go through a little learning curve.
exactly. They said 400 for 30 minutes. So maybe that was the end of that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, this one, it said 450, but I think 450 was a little high for my oven. So I dropped it to 425. So I'm going to try this at 425 straight through and see what happens. The
For
other
how
thing
long?
you could, I'm going to, well, I had it for, let me just double check to see what I wrote. Sorry, my hands are oily. 20 to 30 minutes. So I would start and check it at 20. It does say to stir it halfway through, where I literally took it out. I actually set a timer for 15 minutes. I took it out and I used tongs to turn each one over. I did it that way. And I put it back in and I was just kind of watching it because it was making like sizzling noises, which I'm not used to hearing tofu cubes make sizzling noises in an oven. And the other thing you could do with this, if you wanted it to kind of look maybe eggy, or you could again do a little turmeric with the cornstarch, and toss it. And then, drizzle a little bit of the shoyu and oil. And then you would have some kind of a yellow colored tofu, which is kind of nice. You can see recipes where they will scramble tofu in, you can crumble it. You could actually do that, like even separate to your cauliflower rice, and then do like a scrambled kind of, crumble it with your hands, tofu, and stir fry with a little bit of oil and turmeric and salt. And then you could toss that in. That's another option if you didn't want to bake and have like crispy cubes, tofu cubes. It's a lot of kind of fun things you can do. Some people like to, which we can talk about in the next class, our tofu class coming up. Some people like to freeze their tofu and then defrost it and squeeze out all the liquid. And then you have more of a kind of a chewy texture. You could do that too here, and you could add that into your fried rice.
Oh, you're getting us all set for next month already.
All kinds of ideas.
We're all come ready with our tofu questions.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's great.
So I'm going to pop this in the oven. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. You guys, I know. We're guys, 10 minutes. Finished any questions about the taco, the fried cauliflower rice? Oh. And then Chef, when you're ready, I want to make sure, because we only see half your face, you'll have to move over to there you go, front and center, perfect. I can't help it. Once I produce, I just can't stop.
All right, any questions from anybody? Seem doable? Seem like something that your family might enjoy? Kids, right? Sneak those vegetables in maybe a little bit. Yeah.
All right. We do have a question. Would the cauliflower rice work with kimchi fried rice?
Oh, that would be
great. Doesn't that sound good? And I think that's the exciting part about what you kind of made tonight. Everything has the ability to be tailored, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be delicious.
Fantastic.
Thank you for the idea.
Yeah. All right.
We're in a spicy train tonight, right? We got kimchi and adobo, chipotles, and
exactly.
sriracha. Yeah, we're in the spicy.
Now I don't know, was there, Heather, since you usually do, should I put the PowerPoint back up? Was there anything at the end before? Yeah, let's look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. I'm going to put it back up.
Oh yeah, and do you have the cauliflower, the taco one?
Oh yeah, let's see. And then exactly. So yes, as she's getting that out, look at how beautiful. Our next class, remember, our classes are normally the fourth Monday of each month, but because we had our Memorial Day weekend, we did it early this time. So next month it's going to be June 24th, same time, same place, and that's when you're going to learn all the fun with tofu. We really do hope that you take a moment, try these recipes, enjoy it. Know that you've got more support here if you want. Oh, that looks beautiful. If you decide you want some help with coaching, trying to get yourself to stay healthy, get more active, do this. We aren't going to tell you how to make it, but we might help keep you accountable to try. So Heather, if you don't mind putting in the chat when I turn this, you can always call us where you registered for this class at 432-2260. Every month we have great classes by our dietitians. If you feel so inspired, we have Get Your Plate in Shape, we have Viva Veggies, we have all kinds of great classes. Although I don't know if I'm thinking of our last one, but we do have our Viva Veggies. So every month we have something to inspire you to eat foods, not so much mostly plants. Anything, Chef, you want to add before we close out our evening or open it up for questions?
Not that I can think of right offhand. I
I'm
think
gonna,
I
yeah.
remembered everything I was going to say. Oh, the other thing is
Wow.
sometimes you can add like black beans to your taco walnut cauliflower
Mm.
combination.
Yeah.
That's another thing you can do if you want to add a little bit more protein.
Look at that. Can we come over for dinner now?
Yes,
I want
you
to reach
can,
through the
please.
I
screen and just
know
like
that looks so beautiful.
Uh,
That's great. So fantastic. Food for thought, always something new, something easy. I love it. You really, I just can't get over how much that really looks like rice and not meat. I don't want to say meat, but it just is, it's
Mhm.
beautiful. You've really done some magic with cauliflower. Maybe that's the title for next year, you guys. We don't
magic
have,
with
Ah.
yeah,
cauliflower.
magic with
Yeah.
cauliflower, not magic mushrooms like last month, but magic with cauliflower. So,
That's
all
good.
right. If you guys have questions, we'll stay on the line for a while. Otherwise, we really appreciate you being here and we wish you happy cooking. You know, I like I said a little earlier, the idea of sometimes we feel overwhelmed. Look at you got these great meals in less than an hour. You know, take some time, maybe on the weekend, have some fun with your kids, doing, making meals that might be exciting, set out some good choices. Anything you want to add to that, Heather?
No, I think I hope people just go from here right into the kitchen and get excited to cook.
Yeah. Yes, it
Yeah.
is. You're
Oh, I
welcome.
think that one thing that just as far as if you have extra cauliflower in your fridge, I would, because it can tend to, sometimes it gets kind of brown on the top. It's just the
Yeah, that
moisture.
happens
So if
to
you
me.
can
Yeah.
wrap it in a paper towel to just reduce
Oh.
the amount of moisture, or if you have, like, what I tend to do is I use cloth napkins. So I have like my older cloth napkins. I will wrap my veggies in and then put it in a baggie, and then it just absorbs just any excess moisture, and it'll make it last longer.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes that
Great
happens to
tip.
me if I don't get it quite quick enough, and
Yeah,
then I just
yeah,
like it's still good, kind of skim off, carve off the
right,
top of
right.
it, and yeah. But good to
Mhm.
know. That's a
Oh,
great
and the
tip.
other thing is, if you buy a whole cauliflower, you can use the stem. You can cut that
Oh.
stem into chunks and then process that too with the florets.
I can
Hmm.
honestly, I'm converted. I honestly, cauliflower just because of that, the browning, I never could cook it fast enough. I never wanted to buy it. I'm so excited to go and try this
Well, now
now.
you can make those cauliflower
I
steaks
know.
too, and that's really
Oh,
fun to do
Exactly.
too.
we'll have
Yeah,
to
Maybe we
do
have
there's,
to
that next time.
maybe we
yeah,
should
Yeah,
add
those
that
are
to our
fun.
list for another
Yeah.
future recipe.
Hmm.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's a great
So,
recipe.
yes, you guys, go enjoy your evening. If I always say this in all of our classes, before you just change gears and jump into something else, take a moment, take a breath, take what you took in and enjoy the rest of your night. So thanks for joining us. I know. I know. That's it. Wish I had cauliflower tonight and make this for dinner. It looks really yummy, doesn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Thank
You
you.
does.
are inspiring, Chef. We always learn something.
Thank
Have
you
a
very
good
much.
night, you
You
guys.
too.
That's good.
You're welcome, everybody. Yeah. Lots of people excited to cook, Chef.
Yep.
Good. Yay.
Doable recipes.